Hello, everyone, and welcome to devlog number 4. Today, the most requested feature, Power Ups. So we're going to create 2 just base level ones today, and then I'm going to request that you guys say what you want to see, and then I will try my best to implement that and see how I can get it to work in the game. I think after we are done with these power ups, I want to smooth out everything and kind of make it just a game, like a game that I could say is done and that I could walk away from. But I thought it'd be a little bit fun to see what people can come up with and see if I can implement it. So what you just saw just now is I was changing, instead of hard coding the speed of the player paddle, I set it to a variable so that way I can edit it. For example, right now I'm working with the speed up power up, which will allow you to move your paddle at a faster speed. When something is hard coded at like 3, it's kind of hard to add a modifier to that or modify that. I think it's just cleaner if we have a variable for that purpose. Probably a good idea to do that from the start of any game you create, but for testing purposes and like early development, I just slap things in there just to see if I even like the idea of what I'm doing. Um, and then something you'll see new right now is I'm creating scripts to essentially initiate those power ups to happen. So instead of writing the power up code just in the object itself, having it in a script and then just calling that. Now, would it be a better idea to have some arguments in there, maybe like targeting and or a value based on how far you're into the game? Yes, but again, this is just super basic level. Again, I plan on smoothing everything out. Um, but again, right now we are just creating the one for a speed buff. So what we're going to do here is set the speed equal to the speed plus 2. So you just move, what would that be? So if the speed was 3, you move 2. That's like a little under 66% faster, which I believe when we get to the preview moved a little too quick, so I had to change that up. But I actually ended up changing it to like a quote unquote percentage. So I believe I changed it to 1.2 instead of just adding straight up whole numbers to the speed value. But we'll set all that up. Of course, we need an object for the power up. How are you going to get it? How are you going to see it? We created a sprite for that. We just made it blue. We want to make it fall so we can catch it with the paddle. I could have done a number of ways to do power ups. Who knows? Maybe I could have had it pop up on the screen and you try to hit the ball into it. But as you can see, I was going really fast there. And even when I do just adding 1, yeah. So I was like, you know what? Let's just multiply it. Now, if you saw that, I did 0.2. That would just make it slower, which I found out when I tested it next. I forgot to do 1.2, but it is what it is. Also, the power up was just going through us instead of being consumed or, in the case of coding, destroyed. Boom. There we go. So see, we're a little bit faster. We got that speed buff. Easy peasy. Now we're going to create another function here for I think what I wanted to start with was freezing the enemy paddle, but I think I ultimately ended up going with slowing down because I was a little tight on time. At the moment, I had to step away to do something. So I was like, you know what, a slowdown's probably easier, so we'll do that instead. Um, but let's see here. Taking a little second to think about it. But now this is something I can definitely optimize. So coming up with a way to track whether or not the enemy is debuffed or whatever, I need a variable, and that was frozen. And then this is just me creating the code. If I get the power up, the enemy's frozen variable will equal true. And then based on that, let's see here. And then after a certain amount of time, make it not frozen. But if not frozen, then it can do its, whole AI thing. But if it was frozen, then it would stop. But I was running into issues with that. Again, I was tight on time, so I didn't really take the time to solve all that. I really just moved to slow instead. A little bit easier. So, if you are watching this and you want to throw your input in there, don't say frozen because I'm gonna figure that one out by myself. That'll be my request is do a frozen power up to myself. So, um, yeah, here testing it, and it did seem like it was gonna need a lot of fine tuning too. 'Cause it looks like I did get actually it does look like I got the frozen part somewhat working. Why did I decide not to do it? Was it because, huh, I'm actually not sure. Well, I'm at a loss for words. Apologies for that. I honestly don't even remember it working to any degree. Um, I wonder if it was cut out if I had it paused when I was doing more extensive testing, because I do remember it doing some wonky stuff. Maybe there was a cut, but oh well. Anyway, we need something to create the power-ups in the room, so we'll go to our level code, which just houses all of the tracking needed, and the drawing of our menu when we lost and won, and saying we lost and won. So I just have something that every second it's going to create the power up. So then I grab it. There you go. So okay, it was freezing, but then it became the flash and would zoom to match the X value of the bullet, which in that case doesn't really it's not really fair because you're trying to freeze it to get it to delay it. And if he just gets a speed buff afterwards, it makes it a moot point. Mute point. Not moot, mute. Um, so I decided against that. I believe. See, yep, here you can see. I was like, we're just gonna slow that boy down. I think that's better. I get a speed up. He gets a slowed down. At least we got the power up system in place. Um, However, for the power ups object, it would be sprite based. So whatever sprite, like I'll have it. Let's say you're playing the game, right? And you get a random chance of a power up spawning. Um, a certain sprite will correspond with that buff because you need to know which one you're getting. And then depending on what the sprite is, it'll change the effects. So that way everything's all under one object. I don't have to create 20 different objects for one power up. I can just say if the sprite is this is the power up it's going to be. Um, but for right now, it's just a blue box that speeds you up and slows him down. I can differentiate the two later on, but again, a little quick on time, so just wanted to test things out. And then I had to change instead of hard coding the speed, change it to a variable again. And then once it was slowed down, I didn't want like an instant, I didn't want the enemy's speed to instantly go back to what it should be. I wanted it to be more gradual. Think of like, thawing out. Um, so we can read, I can read the speed there. I know previously you saw the drawing of the difficulty. Just change it to the speed, just so I can see what's happening in real time and adjust it. So there you go. You got 0.11. That one was going back a little too quick. It must be real hot out there. How fast that boy was thawing. Let's see, we can just playing around a little bit more. Boom, it halves his speed, slowly goes back up. Doing some math in my head, I believe, right here. There we go. Let's see. Was I tracking another thing? Oh. I am doing this voiceover a day after, so I might have forgot about some things, but looks like we made a debuffed variable as well. So we'll tie that to the alarm as well. Let's see here. Oh, that's right. A little pause buffer. So he gets frozen. It lasts for a little bit, and then they become thawed. That's right. Anyway, we are coming up on the end of this devlog. Again, these are just ramblings, nothing super professional. Just trying to talk about the code I'm doing in the game I'm making. If you are here, again, always appreciate you. This was the most requested one, so it was pretty fun to do, and I look forward to anybody that wants to throw something at me to try to add in as a power up. Otherwise, I'm going to polish up the game, get it in like a done state, might throw it up on itch.io and let you guys all play it. All right. It's your boy Wailnewt, and thanks for coming. Peace.